2 years ago was the first ever announcement of the pay-per-view Clash at the Castle, which debuted back in 2022. It was safe to say it was a massive success, and it was honestly my favorite show of the entire 2022 calendar. You had the five-star classic between Gunther and Sheamus. You had the extremely emotionally invested Drew McIntyre Roman Reigns WWE Championship match, which had the debut of Solo Sikoa, and you had a Dominic Mysterio heel turn. This and so much more, which made Clash at the Castle 2022 such a major success. Fast forward 2 years later, we're back doing Clash at the Castle, this time in the hometown of Drew McIntyre in Scotland. We have 5 matches on the card. We have 3 Scottish wrestlers that are trying to win championships. I got my predictions, so let's get right. Match on this card that I will be predicting will be for the Women's Tag Team Championship. The Women's Tag Team Championships, that will be the champions Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, defending their championships against the Unholy Union, Alba Fire, and Isla Dawn. And then as well the tag team of Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. I just want to say, I do think it's really awesome that Triple H is starting to pay more attention to the Women's Tag Team Championships. They've kind of been an afterthought for the most part, normally like in the pre-show or like just random put together feuds. So I'm really glad it's starting to get a lot of recognition compared to the little curse they had where like every single like women's tag team that won the championship almost had to deal with an injury or like some type of setback. So it's really nice to see them get more TV time. With that said, I am going to take Bianca and Jade retaining the championships only because I don't see them dropping the titles until later on into the year. Bianca said it herself, like, who's going to beat this tag team? It's basically a super team. You have 2 of the strongest women in WWE in one tag team. I will be honest, though, I did consider the Unholy Union winning just for the Scotland win at home, but I don't really see it. Jade and Bianca retaining the women's tag team titles. Next match on the card is for the SmackDown Women's Championship. It will be Bayley defending her SmackDown Women's Championship against Piper Niven. This kind of feels like almost like a put together match just for Piper Niven to have, the hometown pop and since it's in Scotland. But honestly, I don't really care for that because I think it's awesome that Piper Niven is starting to get more recognition as a solo star. I like Chelsea Green. I think she's great. She's a really great character to have, and she's just a really good like heel manager to have on the side for the most part. And I was really impressed too. I think 2 weeks ago or a week ago, actually I want to say 2 weeks ago, Piper Niven cut that promo against Bayley, and it's like we never see Piper Niven, ever cut promos. Normally it's like Chelsea Green that provides the mic work, and I was really impressed with Piper Niven's mic work. I know how good she was in NXT UK, and I'm really excited to see if this match could potentially propel her into the main event scene, or it could even get her into a program with Chelsea Green. With that said, though, I am going to take Bayley because I feel like it makes the most sense. I think the feud that we're going with is Bayley versus Nia Jax at SummerSlam. It's already been hinted to with Nia Jax calling out Bayley when she won the Queen of the Ring tournament. So I'm going to take Bayley winning this, but I really hope this is a good showing for Piper Niven, and I hope it's more things to come for her because, like I said, she's a really great wrestler, and I was a huge fan of her in NXT UK, but I'm going to take Bayley winning here. Next up is for the Intercontinental Championship. It will be Sami Zayn defending the Intercontinental title against Chad Gable. I've been going back and forth with this match, but I have finally come with a decision, and I believe that Chad Gable will finally win a major championship in WWE. I believe what is going to happen is that Otis is going to fully side with Chad Gable, and it's going to start building up the feud between, Otis aligning with Gable, and then it really starts building the tension between Alpha and Academy. Or there's another thing I can see too, which is the Creed brothers help screw over Sami Zayn at Clash of the Castle. No matter what, I believe that he will take the Intercontinental Championship off Sami Zayn, as Sami Zayn will probably go into like Money in the Bank or something. But yeah, Chad Gable is my pick to win. I was going back and forth. I could see both ways, but I believe there's more of a story with Chad Gable winning the championship, and it starts hinting at the split of Alpha Academy, which they've already been doing for weeks on Raw, but then it also shows that Otis could possibly already align with the new Alpha Academy and fully turn heel, well, for a little bit until he has, the inevitable babyface turn, which will hopefully propel him up to the card. It's not like last time when Otis was a face, in 2020 when he won Money in the Bank. I feel like this is a bit more special. I know that WWE will capitalize on his momentum, or at least I hope they will. But Kurt Gable will get the win. Next up, it is a I Quit match for the WWE Championship. Cody Rhodes will face off against AJ Styles. For me, the most predictable match on the card, but it's okay because predictability in wrestling is a good thing. It's not always a bad thing. I know people think predictability is bad, but sometimes it's not. And in this scenario, I don't really think it is. I think adding the I Quit stipulation is a really nice giveaway or a little hint to him potentially, making his way to TNA. Slammiversary is coming up soon. So I would not be shocked if AJ Styles were to go to TNA, have a run there with a TNA championship, possibly facing a guy like Moose. Or what you can also do is you could send him down to NXT and he could start having like that little feud with TNA. Regardless, though, I think that Styles will be, out the door for a little bit, like I said, just to have that TNA run. So I believe having him in an I Quit storyline is actually really smart because it can also build the tension between Nick Aldis and AJ Styles. It could be like, oh, you said you quit? And he's like, I do quit, and he's like, I'm going to go leave the WWE for a long period of time, go to TNA, have the run. Because with WWE and TNA having that little partnership, I believe that's what is going to happen. But still, Cody Rhodes is going to win because he's like this generation's John Cena. He's not going to quit because it's just not going to happen. So Cody Rhodes is going to win. I hope it's a great match. I believe it'll be a great match. I wonder how if they're going to brawl around the entire, Scottish arena, which would be cool to see. But no matter what, Cody's going to win. You can bet the house. You can bet the family. You can bet the car. You can bet your life savings. No matter what, Cody is going to win. I guarantee. And now for the main event of the card, or I believe it's the main event of the card because, it makes sense with Drew McIntyre in Scotland. It is for the World Heavyweight Championship. It is Drew McIntyre who is trying to finally chase glory and win a championship in front of his hometown crowd. Very similar to how 2022 was when he faced Roman Reigns, except this time he's like a heel or he's a tweener. I mean, honestly, he's not even a heel or a face. He's just does whatever the hell he wants. But he'll be taking on Damian Priest of the Judgment Day. I was really going back and forth with this because for me personally, I think this is the most unpredictable match on the card because I could see this go either way. I could see Damian Priest winning this and then CM Punk cost Drew McIntyre, making him lose the World Heavyweight Championship, causing more broken dreams for Drew McIntyre. Or I could see the split of the Judgment Day already happening with Finn Balor turning on Damian Priest and then McIntyre wins the championship. I'm going to go with Damian Priest beating Drew McIntyre. But then I also feel like if Drew McIntyre comes out the broken dreams, like he has to win, right? I'm going to stick with Damian Priest winning it just because it would be such a huge moment. People would be talking about that for years and years to come. So I have Damian Priest winning with CM Punk playing a role against Drew McIntyre. I believe that he will cost him the World Heavyweight Championship and start building that program for SummerSlam between Punk and McIntyre. I'm going to take Drew McIntyre losing at home. This I'm not very confident in. I could really see it go either way. And McIntyre, I think he will be having his broken dreams tonight, and I think Damian Priest will stand tall, still the World Heavyweight Champion. Hold on there. Did you really think the video was going to end? I added a certain someone on the thumbnail, and I didn't do it just for the clicks. I did it because I want to fuel my own delusion. Let's talk about the odds of Mr. Joe Hendry potentially showing up at Clash at the Castle. For me, this is a CM Punk Survivor Series 2023 situation where it's, if you're going to bring CM Punk there in Chicago, it's the best way to do it. It's going to be a huge pop. If you were going to bring Joe Hendry into Scotland, not even for a match, but just like at the end of the card, very similar to how Tyson Fury came out after Drew McIntyre lost to Roman Reigns. If you were going to bring Joe Hendry out, this would be the perfect place to do it, man. This would be a generational pop for Joe Hendry, given that he is a Scottish wrestler. I don't know if he's going to be there exactly because he was just at TNA against all odds and he was wrestling last night in Chicago. But if they were going to do it, this would be the time to do it. There's been hints about, say, his name. There's been Joe Hendry who's been posting stuff all the time about Glasgow and posting stuff in Chicago, no matter what, about, people saying his name. And I even have a little pitch for you. Now, I don't think this is going to happen, but this is what I want to happen. McIntyre wins, because McIntyre would be the one to do this. Very similar at WrestleMania 40, how McIntyre beat Seth Rollins, held the championship, and was mocking CM Punk, right? You know, being like, I won a championship, you didn't, I took your dream, right? Now imagine this. Drew McIntyre beats Damian Priest because CM Punk tried to screw over Drew McIntyre, but he actually screws over Damian Priest. So what happens is that McIntyre will go to Punk, you know, brag and stuff like, I'm the champion, like I prayed for this and that happened, you know, like that, right? So then when he can go to Punk and it can be like, all right, Punk, who's your world heavyweight champion? Say his name. And then Joe Hendry comes out, he's like, say his name, and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. And then, you know, and then you have Joe Hendry come out. The crowd goes like, oh my God, Joe Hendry's there, you know? And you can have a little bit of a face-off between McIntyre and Joe Hendry because they've been low-key kind of teasing it, you know, on Raw and through social media. Again, I don't think this is what's going to happen. This is what I want to happen. I want to fuel my own delusion. I believe in my false hope. I will continue believing in my false hope. I drank a cup of false hope this morning just so I can be energized and full of the false hope. Then again, though, I don't think it's going to happen, but if it's what I want to happen, so let me believe it's going to happen. But if he was going to show up too, I could also see him showing up on NXT as well, because they had the interpromotional battle royale for the NXT Championship, so I would not be surprised if Joe Hendry were to make an appearance. Even a guy like Moose would make an appearance there. I believe in Joe Hendry, and I believe that you should too. All right, guys, that will conclude my 2024 Clash at the Castle predictions. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment down below some of your picks. Do you agree with my predictions? If not, that's cool, even though I know I'm right and I know you're wrong. Well, kinda. Like I said, the two matches, McIntyre and Priest, and Gable and Sami Zayn, I can see go either way, but I'm going to lock in my predictions. I'm going to stick with them. I'm not going to change them. I'm going to be a man of my word. But yeah, let me know what you guys' prediction is. Would always love to hear down below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. I post wrestling content as much as I can. I love posting wrestling content. Wrestling is one of my favorite things, one of my passions, one of my first loves. So I will continue making videos for the world of professional wrestling. Monday, I will post my Clash at the Castle reactions. With that said, hope you guys enjoyed the show. Enjoy Clash at the Castle. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.